Ethiopian authorities have shared details of how many foreigners were arrested in the last 12 months. The foreigners who tried to obtain Ethiopian passport. Hundreds of Eritreans were among the arrested foreigners. Why were they arrested? Uh, and why did they want to obtain Ethiopian passport? Secondly, Sudan and Egypt teaming up to confront Ethiopia over the issue of GERD, Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Prime ministers of the two countries issued a joint statement a few hours ago. Let's start with the first story, which is about foreigners who use Ethiopia as a transit to seek asylum abroad. We know that Ethiopia is hosting tens of thousands of refugees from neighboring countries. Eritreans, Sudanese, Somalis are in Ethiopia. And there are foreigners from some other African countries too. Why do they come to Ethiopia? Ethiopia is not their choice for permanent residence. They use Ethiopia as a transit, and from Ethiopia, they want to use Ethiopia as a staging ground to move to a Middle Eastern country, to move to Europe, to move to America, Canada. And Ethiopian officials are part of illegal networks operating to facilitate these foreigners. According to Ethiopian Immigration and Citizenship Service, 4,000 foreigners were arrested in the last 1 year. The 4,000 foreigners tried to obtain Ethiopian passports, but their forgery was detected, and before the issuance of the passport or after the issuance of the passport, these foreigners were arrested. Among those who have been arrested, there are Eritreans, there are Somalis, there are Nigerians as well. Eritreans arrested in Ethiopia, Eritrean human rights groups start claiming that Ethiopian government is harassing Eritreans. But lots of these Eritreans try to obtain Ethiopian passport. Why? Well, they want to obtain Ethiopian passport. On that passport, they fly to Europe, they fly to the US. And once they enter Europe, once they enter US, Canada, they just throw away that passport. Then they seek asylum there. They say that they're Eritreans. They show their original identity there. And they seek asylum. So Ethiopia is used as a transit, obviously willingly, because Ethiopian government officials are making money through issuance of these fake passports to foreigners. While 4,000 foreigners have been arrested, the accomplices in the Ethiopian bureaucracy should also be arrested and punished. But it's not new, by the way. This development is not new. For years, Ethiopians have been faking as Eritreans. Eritreans have been faking as Ethiopians. When Ethiopians want to seek asylum abroad, sometimes they fake as Eritreans. When Eritreans want to leave Ethiopia to reach Europe, they cannot leave as refugees. So they leave as Ethiopians. They obtain Ethiopian passports. They enter Europe and they start a legal battle and they file asylum cases there. 4 million passports are due to be issued this year by Ethiopian authorities. 1.5 million were issued last year. Now 4,000 arrested, maybe thousands managed to obtain passports and fly to Europe and America. Second was Sudan and Egypt are teaming up to pressurize Ethiopia while inauguration of GERD is approaching. September is the month of the inauguration of Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. And in this month, Ethiopia is inviting dignitaries, leaders from across the world to inaugurate the largest hydroelectric power dam in Africa, GERD, built in Manishangal, Kumul region of Ethiopia. Since day one, Egypt and Sudan, downstream River Nile countries, have been opposing the dam, saying that the construction of the dam will reduce the flow of water into Blue Nile River. US supporting Egypt, Sudan, Egypt hope that will be able to force Ethiopia to sign a legally binding agreement with international support before the inauguration ceremony. Egypt very busy these days on diplomatic front. It is trying to get US support of African countries, support of Middle Eastern countries to pressurize Ethiopia. New Sudanese Prime Minister Kamal Idris visited Egypt 2 days ago, appointed by Al-Burhan, Al-Fatah Al-Burhan. He is getting support from the neighboring countries for the government because RSF has also established a government in Darfur. Both parties want to be recognized as legitimate governments, but Al-Burhan-led government is being recognized by most of the regional players. Kamal Idris met with his Egyptian counterpart Mustafa, and they issued a joint statement. They rejected unilateral Ethiopian approach on GERD. So both are demanding inclusive approach by Ethiopia to operate GERD. Will Ethiopia be able to inaugurate GERD safely in September? That remains to be seen. By the way, Tigray military is in a difficult position, TPLF. They planned to take back Volkite militarily. Eritrea was backing them. But if they carry out an attack on Volkite now and inauguration of GERD is disrupted, they will always face this accusation that they are the ones who, backed by foreigners, disrupted the inauguration of an Ethiopian project. And if they postpone their invasion of Volkite, maybe India will be able to get its act together and make new strategies, and maybe in a better position after a few months. So Tigray military and Eritrean side in a fix about what to do now. Meanwhile, Egypt and Sudan teaming up. Which options do Egypt and Sudan have to pressurize Ethiopia? They have limited options, by the way. They have tried most of these options in the past. Trump is the trump card for them because Trump is known for being very clear cut in his decisions. If they get Trump's support and Trump decides to put his foot in, that could be problematic for Ethiopia. Let's see what happens. Thank you for watching.